What are you laughing at?
It's almost just a Quentin Tarantino Jet Li Hero, and I was like still looking for the name of the movie. And then Jet Li and Hero were 2 stars.
Yeah, what are you talking about? It's the name of the movie, Jet Li Hero. What's happening, party people? Welcome back to another KAFM. That's Kill All Film Makers? Majors?
Majors.
Kill All Film Majors.
Makers get a slide with me. Majors get the axe.
That's John. I'm Duncan.
Oh.
Again, you should always assume every episode is somebody's first episode, regardless of how we release these.
I don't think I've introduced myself in any of these. I think you've introduced me every time.
Even when you were doing the intro, you pointed at me expecting me to say your name. Like you
Go.
Even when you remembered, it's like, oh yeah, we're doing names. You just kept pointing at me.
Do you want to just restart?
No.
Okay.
We saw 2 movies, so we got 2 box office bomb squads coming at
Yeah, we did see 2 movies this week, one of which we'll go back and forth on as varying levels, the other of which we'll describe as a biblical plague.
Do you want to start with the one that, like, we could actually have a conversation about, or the one that we...
I don't know which is which. We'll start with the one we saw longest, Argylle.
So we're starting with Argylle.
We're starting with Argylle.
Matthew Vaughn,
Henry Cavill,
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
I can see your face.
Well, I like Sam Rockwell.
No, the lead actress, though. Like, I'm trying to remember names.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
No, it was the other one, I thought.
Dua Lipa?
No. Was Bryce Dallas Howard the lead?
In Argylle?
Yes. Was that Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I blacked out when the credits started. I looked up and I was like, oh wait, there were some names I wanted to look for. Hang on. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yeah. What other Hollywood redheads are there besides her and Amy Adams? You're a protected class.
Hang on, Bryce. This is important to me.
What did we... This is great content.
Bryce Dallas Howard look-alike. Thought it was Jessica Chastain.
Just 4 full beats of silence as you Google on your phone.
No, I'm saying things. I was saying it was important to me.
I didn't say anything. I went silent and I watched you Google. Look at that. See that on there? See that blank dead air? See that long line?
No.
Okay.
I can't see sound, idiot.
It's true. Alright. I'm gonna put in a second restart. I'm gonna put in a second intro right here, just in case we cut all this.
No.
No?
Okay, no, you want it... Okay.
Welcome to KAFM. That's Kill All Film Majors. Maybe we're restarting, maybe not. This week we saw 2 a mixed bag of Argylle and Webbs, and we're gonna start with the one that
Argylle.
Argylle. We're gonna start with Argylle.
The one that we saw longer ago. Because as of time of recording, we watched the other one last night, so that one's fresh in the dome.
As much of it as can be stuck in my brain. So I got about 2 minutes of content on that one.
Alright, Argylle. Matthew Vaughn directing, written by Mike Fuchs.
Was it?
Yeah.
Do you mean Jason Fuchs?
Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I'm going to assume that he's not walking around. My name's Mike Fuchs. I think that's the writer of a different movie.
Is it?
Yeah. He wrote a different type of Madam Web.
You just spoiled what the other one's gonna be, as though it's not in the title of the episode.
Is it not? It's not. It's just redacted.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but no.
That's how we're gonna release the Poor Things review. Redacted.
Yeah.
Anytime we say the title of the movie, we're just gonna censor it so we
Yeah.
don't get hate from...
They should have censored a few more things of that movie. I ain't talking about Bush. I'm talking about Mark Ruffalo's performance.
Getting distracted from the best part of Poor Things. Argylle.
Argylle is a movie directed by the guy who made one good Kingsman and then proceeded to keep making them despite our best efforts.
I liked Kingsman too.
You did?
I liked Kingsman too. Kingsman is indefensible.
Okay, well, we'll average it. He made 1.5 good Kingsman movies.
And if you believe the hype of Argylle, this rounds it out to 2 even.
Is that so? Just real quick, you're more positive on this movie than I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Matthew Vaughn movies are very fun. You think he's an overrated action director.
That's true.
And it's one of those things where when it comes to his directing style and how like he does post-production with his editors, with the cinematography, it feels very much like he directs with an editor's eye. I think he knows how he wants scenes to be put together. So on set, he has a very clear vision of where he wants the camera to be, and I think about 90% of the time it works. I think Argylle just has a few bumps where like there'll be a cut and I'm like, okay, like it takes me a second to readjust, like the big like rainbow smoke scene. Like I wasn't a huge fan of how that was edited.
So they actually, Hitchcock actually shot very little coverage because he knew how he wanted it to cut together in his head. So really what you're saying is Matthew Vaughn has the same cultural relevance as Alfred Hitchcock. The Kingsman 2 is the Rear Window of the 2010s.
I mean, I liked them both.
Equally.
Kingsman 2 had a whip.
Get over here. The neighbor's got a whip. He flew an F-16 to a cowboy town.
Now I'm imagining Jimmy Stewart as oh god, my brain. I'm imagining Jimmy Stewart in the church scene from Kingsman 1.
This place is rotten with James Bonds. I need to kill these Protestants. I'm a Catholic boy.
This isn't right at all. People are crazy.
Yours is better than mine. Why the hell have I been doing this impression?
Dude, I love Jimmy Stewart. I think Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is underrated.
It's awesome. You know what isn't awesome? Argylle.
Argylle is objectively, at minimum, 7 out of 10 movie.
Objectively 7 out of 10?
Look, if 5 out of 10 is the average.
Yeah.
I think stylistically it's pushed above average.
I think if 5 out of 10 is the average, it's average because stylistically it elevates it above garbage. I think the style and the fun pulls it out of the trash heap of direct-to-DVD schlock that it should be.
You're right, so it's better than most JCVD movies.
No.
I was waiting for you to jump over the table at me for that one.
It's better than maybe none. I don't know. No, there's some JCVD movies that I'd rather watch Argylle maybe.
So the plot of
like
Argylle.
Black Eagle. Like Eagle sucks.
The plot of Argylle follows a writer who
a J.K. Rowling-esque, very like she's supposed to be. She's like the J.K. Rowling of spy novels.
Yeah, very. Do we care about like spoilers for this? Or are we just gonna?
We'll do a quick synopsis and then we'll spoil away. We'll give a warning when you're gonna get spoiled.
Yeah, that's fair. So follows this novelist who's being hunted by a real life evil spy agency. Like she writes spy novels, and apparently the stuff she's been writing has been like vaguely true or like loosely following real world events. So they're tracking her down to be like to figure out like how are you doing this? Write the next novel. We need to know what happens next in real life. And I think she responds accordingly with that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Everybody here is crazy.
And so basically you just start off it's like a spy thriller action movie where the main character doesn't know what's going on and is unprepared. And you're like, okay. But she's going to influence the spy world in theory.
Yeah, she thinks like somebody who knows tropes,
Mm-hmm.
and the real world is following these like tropes. So
Yeah.
she's very easily able to say, well, if I was writing this, I would do this, and then it turns out to be true enough for them to get to the next plot point.
Yeah, a writer in a spy's world brings her cat, and the movie goes about there's about an hour of that, and then maybe an hour 20, and then a twist, that makes the next hour unbearable.
You mentioned when I was gonna go see it, because we saw it separately.
Yeah.
And you mentioned when I was gonna go see it that there was a very competently done, like, one of the best scenes in the movie, all practical effects, practical stunts, followed by one of the most awful CGI moments that doesn't work.
I wasn't saying practical effects I was saying it was Matthew Vaughn's style working in a CGI scene, and then Matthew Vaughn's style not working.
Were you talking about the apartment scene followed by jumping from the roof?
No.
Okay, because that's where I saw, and I'm like, oh no, that looks...
It looks bad.
Awful.
That's the interesting part about this movie. Like, even if you like it, the CGI is not... Like, you would never be like, oh, that's good CGI.
No, 'cause the weird thing is, CGI hasn't worked since, like, 2019.
I know, it stopped. COVID broke it.
Cats broke it.
Cats broke it?
Cats broke CGI.
Okay.
Because...
I did see that in theaters, too.
Late 2019, right?
Mm-hmm. The last movie I saw before COVID.
I'm so sorry.
You know what the movie I first saw after COVID?
Cats 2.
Snake Eyes. So it was like a year and a half where I was like, now I can go back to the theaters. And I was like, I wish I had COVID. I need something to remove my memories. So
I wish I was dying and couldn't smell or taste how bad this is.
Put me on the respirator.
Oh, God.
But, all right. It's really hard to talk about why I don't like this movie without spoiling it. But I'll say this. If you like Bryan Cranston, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, Henry Cavill, John Cena.
Sam Jackson for a moment.
Sam Jackson for the briefest. They have some good lines, and the scenes are fun enough. I saw it actually with my dad, and he described this movie as Legos, in the sense that you could take it apart and put it together in whatever order you want, because there's nothing really driving the movie. There's a USB they want, sort of, but they never really want it that bad. And then once the USB is like involved in the scenes, it doesn't really matter.
They upload it to the cloud, and Sam Jackson does a little dance about it.
But even then, and here's where we'll get into spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler territory.
Everyone on that USB drive is dead. It's a USB drive that contains the identities of all of the evil agencies. And
they spend the movie killing them.
And then the final scene is them blowing them up in a boat in the Pacific Ocean. Like, anyone who didn't get shot, stabbed, or burned is down with the Titanic and James Cameron's Avatar submersibles. Like what is that USB for? What was the point of this movie? I
think it was that, like, they had agents all over the world, so they took out, like, one sect. Because if it's based on... We'll just pick a spy series here. If it's based on James Bond...
Why would you think that?
Because I've been...
What if this is based on the Avengers?
I've been Bond-pilled. I can't...
From 1980 or whatever.
Could be based on the original Mission Impossible TV series.
That's true. They should make a remake of that.
No. I think the first one will be bad, but spawn a large franchise.
Okay.
Fuck, my train of thought.
Well, it's impossible to have one when you're talking about Argylle, because every scene wraps itself up.
Yes, that was my biggest complaint about it. So what I think the coolest thing the film does, that it immediately fumbles because it resolves this in the same scene, is the reveal of Bryan Cranston's character. Again, we're in spoiler territory. About halfway through the movie, like, I think this scene is meant to be like the A to B goal shift of, you know, moving on to, like, the next thing that the movie wants to be about. It's revealed that Bryan Cranston is, like, Bryce Dallas Howard's father. Like, it's revealed that, like, her parents, or at least her dad, is, like, the villain of the movie, and they've played it really well to not show you the dad, but the mom will, like, call to him in another room or something. And in my brain, it brought me back to, like, the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Refresh me.
It turns out that the girl that he wanted to date, her dad was the villain, Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
there's like a good scene where Michael Keaton, like, pieces together he's Spider-Man, I remember.
Yeah, like, that was a great twist, and I was like, I had flashbacks to that, because I think we might have been like 16, 17 when that came out or something. So like when you're, still relatively a kid going into it's like, oh my god, like this is such a great twist. So I had flashbacks to that, and I started having expectations of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this will be such a great like bit of tension throughout the movie, to just know like we are privy to this information. Literally in the same scene, Sam Rockwell's character, who has been kind of back and forth on can I trust you or can't I trust you, comes in, basically says both your parents are secret agents, shoots her mom, and then they leave.
Yeah. And then this sets up something else that the movie does, which is one twist isn't enough.
No.
Every twist needs a twist. So later on we find out neither of those people are her real parents. Her real parents we never see. They brainwashed her to thinking they're her real parents so that they could use her to make plans.
Because she was really a spy the whole time.
Which is what I consider the twist that ruins the movie.
Yeah, that...
Because her character is fun. This writer who has this insane power where it's like both the good spies and the bad spies need you alive because you can write the future. And you're writing spy fiction, so we want... Basically, we don't know, like, do they want her to write, our side's gonna win? What?
You know who else could write the future?
Who?
Madam Web.
Oh, no.
Go on.
You'll write our side wins, or you'll write what happens, then we'll be able to respond to it and change the future. And then instead, it turns out she actually has no future powers whatsoever. She's just been writing her memories.
That have been, like, deep... seated in her like amnesia mind,
because the evil organization's best plan, she was like the best spy ever, their plan was to basically hit her over the head with a brick, brainwash her into writing a journal that was her memories so they could find out where she stored the USB drive, and then wait. And she's been writing as a writer 5 years. So 5 years ago, they tricked her, and then they just sat and waited, and she wrote book 1, 2, like we're on book 5, right, in the movie? So she's been doing a book a year, and every year, I guess, Bryan Cranston skims through the pages, he goes, she doesn't mention the USB here, and goes to the next year. And that's just... lock her in a room and tase her until she tells you where the speed drive is.
Be real spies.
And I get it's a goofy, it's everything he does is comic booky and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just so stupid. It's just stupid.
What I appreciate...
What if she gets hit by a bus?
And then dies before...
I'm just saying, she's a writer.
She's just like a normal person now. She doesn't remember all of her training. It's in there, and we see that a little bit. Like, Sam Rockwell eventually like throws a punch, and like muscle memory responds.
And the action gets way worse, because Bryce Dallas Howard doesn't do any stunt work, so they have to cut around it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's good at action until he has to like fake that a person can walk.
But
Bryce does that. She can walk, but like not much more than that.
But what I think works with the twist is that throughout the movie she had not, I don't want to call it dissociation or disassociation, but she'll look in a mirror and she'll see Argylle, her character.
Yeah.
She'll see Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill's like talking to her, and like they have this back and forth, and she thinks it's like, I'm under a lot of stress right now, and you are a coping mechanism for me. Because I've written you so long, you are a character that lives within me. You would know how to respond to these spy situations. And I love that dynamic.
Yeah, that's an imaginary friend is more interesting than secretly Henry Cavill is my memories of being a murderous bitch. Okay, when I phrase it like that, it sounds cool, but that's all the movie's like.
But like, it cuts so well between like her seeing Sam Rockwell do the action, and then she blinks and it's Henry Cavill doing the same stunts. I was laughing because Henry Cavill is like 8 inches taller than Sam Rockwell. Yeah. So it's like the same framing, but Sam Rockwell is taking up half of the frame.
You're touching on probably the best action scene in the movie, unfortunately for the movie.
In the subway? Or in the train? Yeah.
Where we've got 2 different fight scenes happening at the same time. Sam Rockwell really fighting spies, Argylle in her brain fighting spies that are intercut with this POV, like Bryce Dallas Howard blinking and freaking out, and she's just trying to run away because she's like, this is insane, no one would believe this.
Yeah.
So that's a fun, legitimate response.
Followed by
I don't remember horrible parachute scene where the CGI looks terrible.
yeah.
And then she wakes up in a car and or in a hotel and she's like, "Can you tell me what's going on?" And I'm like, "You were screaming in the last scene. He basically knocked you out, and now you're like, all right, buddy, the things aren't adding up."
Yeah, she woke up in a log cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
with a stranger in an undershirt.
Yeah, shaved at least.
Yeah, that's good. He cleaned himself up.
Yeah, I see your issues with the film, and yeah, the CGI doesn't work.
No, it's
like
just bad.
the CGI animals have never looked good. I'm sorry, Harrison Ford, but nobody believed the dog. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a movie where he has a dog.
Call the Wild. Man. Call the Wild, I think was the
okay.
Call the Wild or White Fang. It was a Jack London book that they adapted recently.
Okay.
With CGI dogs.
What's weird to me is the cat's barely in the movie, and it spends a lot of time in a box. So, like, why not just lot of CGI when it's not really being seen, and then just hold a real cat?
What amazes me is that cat was all over the marketing. There were posters that were just the cat.
Yeah, and he's in the movie for 10 minutes, maybe.
The big twist is that the cat has the same name as Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
That was the cat reveal.
And no, Sam Jackson is, by the way, another great instance of this movie having too much going on. Because he got paid to sit in a room and watch the Lakers
game.
And in just the nicest suit, drinking red wine. And Sam Jackson's awesome. Put him in every movie.
This really felt like Matthew Vaughn saying, like, hey, we worked together. I liked working with you. But, you know, I killed your character off in the first Kingsman movie. I want to work with you again.
Just put him in a wig and bring him back to someone else.
Yeah.
That's my brother. He was a dick. Me, however.
I mean, they killed off Colin Firth's character in the first one and still brought him back.
Exactly. These movies suck. Just do whatever you want.
See, my opinion is these movies are awesome. Do whatever you want. However, that gave us Kingsman, where they MCU revealed Hitler.
It's true.
The only thing I remember about Kingsman thing about it is I think Rasputin was bisexual, but I can't be certain.
He had 2 knives. He was bi something. Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
But the scene I was talking about when I said Argylle has a scene that works and a scene that doesn't. The smoke scene was a little lame to me, but it worked in the sense that it was a dance. And so you're not supposed to take it too seriously. Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard just dance together, shooting each other. And then that fucking ice skating scene.
Oh my god.
Is just one of the worst things. They in the final confrontation, basically, a bunch of crude oil leaks for no real reason. Turns out we're on a ship, but like oil doesn't have to leak for the scene to happen. Then Bryce Dallas Howard, who is now a super spy, remembers her super spyness, puts knives on the boots of her feet, and ice skates in the oil, stabbing people, and then they say you can't fire a gun or it'll ignite the oil.
And then she just fires a gun.
She fires a gun and it doesn't ignite. The ship blows up later, but that's kind of unrelated. They just have a bomb or something.
That did remind me, there's like 3 final confrontations.
Yeah.
Because they build up Bryan Cranston as the bad guy of the film. He's in charge of the evil organization.
Great line deliveries. I can't see shit!
Honestly, like, I think all of the acting was good. I think everybody brought it with what was given.
I agree.
But they reveal that, like, she was brainwashed, and the woman playing her mother, who didn't actually die when she was shot, because every reveal needs another reveal.
Yeah, every twist, not enough. One twist is one too little.
She's, like, the best, like, hypnotist they have,
yeah.
And she was in charge of the hypnotism that, you know, made her a sleeper agent or whatever. And they kind of, they deal with, I'm thinking about like 4 different final confrontations.
Yeah.
Because there's an ice skating scene.
Mm-hmm.
There's them trying to upload the USB inside.
Yeah.
And then the cat kills Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
The cat claws out his face or whatever.
And doesn't even kill him, though. Like, Sam Rockwell shoots him.
Yeah.
So, again, the cat really doesn't have plot relevance.
It was just more so a distraction that allowed them to kill Bryan Cranston. There's the confrontation between the mother. There's a confrontation between the mother the first time, and then that doesn't work. But she comes back later with the little like music box.
Yeah, they just decide music boxes are how she's been hypnotized. This has not been referenced at all in the movie.
There was once, but they say it's more of like a tchotchke to be like...
Oh yeah, when they're hypnotizing her the first time.
They just have like piles of crap on this table in front of her, being like, all of this will be relevant to her brainwashing.
But you think that pile of crap would turn her into the author version of her? Because they use it to make her a meek author.
Yeah.
So why would later on it turn her into a super killer?
Playing the music box backwards to summon the devil.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But yeah, so the final confrontation is Bryce Dallas Howard, who her real name is Special Agent R. Kyle.
Yeah.
R. Kyle.
Argylle was R. Kyle.
You get it?
Yeah. Do you like this movie still?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, if you rearrange the letters in R. Kyle, because they spell it with 2 L's.
Uh-huh.
Switch those vowels around.
What?
You get R. Kelly.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what kind of
there the whole time.
I don't know what kind of revelation.
That's what's on the USB drive.
I don't know what kind of revelation this is, but like they specifically spell Kyle weird.
Yeah.
Because they spell Argylle weird.
Just to make it unique.
I guess.
Like that is a thing Matthew Vaughn does, where it's like make the movie a little weird.
It's like I'm just gonna skew to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final confrontation is between R. Kyle and whatever Sam Rockwell's character's name was.
Sam Rockwell?
Aiden. I remember it was just a guy
God.
name. His name was Aiden. Aiden, and then something hard like Stone.
Pierce.
Aiden Pierce. Aiden Stone. He had a really hard last name.
Aiden Pierce from like Deus Ex or something?
Maybe. Wait a minute.
Aiden Pierce.
Was he the one with the cool eyes? No, that was Jensen.
No, that's Adam Jensen, because Adam, the first man.
Jensen.
Which is about the level of symbolism you get in Argylle.
Which, you know, my only major criticism is they do a lot of parallels where it shows like this is because in the books Henry Cavill's character in real life was Bryce Dallas Howard, and John Cena's character in real life was Sam Rockwell. So they do a lot of parallels showing like earlier scenes from like the book, you know, them doing things, and then it shows what really happened with the real, quote unquote, real life Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard in the spot. When they're driving away from the boat, Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell kiss, and then we go over to John Cena and Henry Cavill, who are not kissing.
That's true, they robbed you.
I think they robbed me. I think they're cowards.
This is your major flaw with the movie?
This is my major...
Not the script or the editing or the pacing or the movie?
No. Well, I mean, the CGI was also... No, I also, like, again, all my issues with this movie are very small, but, like, it's just little things. Like, individual scenes will irk me. Because, like, the scene revealing Bryan Cranston's character, like, the beginning of that scene, I was immediately reinvested in the film. I'm like, okay, the second half is going to be awesome.
This is an actor who's good at tension in family dynamics.
Yeah.
This is the motherfucker from Breaking Bad. Maybe
Exactly.
the scenes will be good.
Exactly.
It's over. Sorry.
Like, all these... Because, like, they do the same thing. They do a Chekhov's gun. Like, he has a big blunderbuss or, like, a shotgun or something, a hunting rifle, and he's just like, this was my grandfather's. And I was like, okay, Chekhov's gun. He's going to grab that. During the final confrontation, he's going to grab that off the wall. Like, I can see it coming. He unloads that gun in the same scene that the gun is introduced.
Yeah, he uses it right after. He literally picks it up, he says, this is Clementine, and then he shoots a dude.
Yeah. And so, like, the plot stuff resolving itself in individual scenes really irked me. But, like, again, it's just small things. Like, the smoke dancing sequence, the reason it doesn't work for me is color theory. Because I think Matthew Vaughn movies are always, have a distinct look that just comes in the post-production.
Yeah.
And having all these rainbow colors in the smoke scene just kind of make it hard to look at for me. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's not big at all. And it's probably just a me thing. But in my head, I'm like, if they had just made them, like, like a goldish and then a green, because that's kind of, like, Argyle's color, like he wears the green. Like if they made it like gold, green, and red.
Okay.
That probably would have worked better for me. Just like make 3 like distinct colors. Make them the color palette of the movie or something.
My issue with that scene is it's just a dance scene, and so all the shooting is really lame. Like there's no cool like they keep doing like poses to shoot, but most of the time you're not seeing people get shot. They're just kind of shooting into smoke.
They're shooting down hallways where we're not seeing bodies drop, and we just have to trust that these are landing.
Yeah. And that removes a lot of the catharsis of shooting someone in a movie.
Asterisk in a movie.
Your Honor. And that's a great I think that would be my biggest complaint with Argylle is there's no catharsis because everything gets solved in the scene it is or has no purpose. Because this USB drive, they've been hunting this USB drive the whole time. And like if it was on the cat's collar or something, that's like kind of just straight out of Snatch, but at least that's a reason this animal was in the movie. No, it's in the Middle East.
It's also Men in Black.
We got to go to the Middle East. Okay. There's a lesbian in the Middle East who has the USB hard drive, and she holds all secrets forever perfectly, and you can't fight, fuck, or dance in her house. How is this relevant? We get a flash drive finally. On that flash drive, we find out one thing about Bryce Dallas Howard is that she's actually an evil spy. And then in the next scene, the very next scene, because they get drugged at that party, or that horrible lying Arabic woman's house.
You're choosing adjectives here, and I'm...
She doesn't lie. Who lies?
She explicitly doesn't lie.
Whatever. She's annoying. The character's annoying. It's a stupid introduction to the character. Anyway, they melt the USB drive in the next scene.
Yeah.
And it's immediately destroyed.
Yeah.
And the last 85, 90 minutes, they've been like, where's this flash drive? It's gone.
They wanted it just to destroy it. And in my brain, I'm like, okay, if you're the biggest, most evil spy organization ever, and you don't care about anybody but protecting your own interest.
They can hack into any security camera on the planet and listen to live audio feed of every conversation that camera can see. They can know everything.
I was just thinking, as soon as you know where the flash drive is, if your plan is to destroy it, drone strike the area.
1 million bombs to the Middle East. Like, I'm just saying, it's in the Arabian Peninsula is where they say it's like nondescript. It's like it's just a comic booky like sand desert.
Yeah,
palace.
it's like, I don't want to say like borderline like insensitive levels of, but they just say it's Middle East.
Middle East, and so like just somehow we can do everything except just bomb one building. Like, and then I like the action scene when he has to bust out of the floorboards and he like has to fight dudes
in the apartment.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the train action scene. It's just I like every action scene in the movie less and less as it goes on. And then there's a twist I don't like where she's the super spy. And so just it's like getting worse and worse as I watch it. And by the end, I'm like, oh my God.
So this isn't going to go on your rewatch list?
No. My dad said he would watch it if it was on TV and he could do something else. Because you don't have to pay attention. Every scene solves itself. You don't have to hold information in between the scenes. So you like it for what it is.
Yeah.
I hate it for what it's not.
Which is really the dichotomy of film, isn't it?
Yeah. I wanted it to be good. You're okay with it being shit.
No, I don't think it's shit. Because we have seen shit. Last night we watched shit.
Is that where we're going now? Because I'm kind of out of things to say about Argylle.
Exactly. This is the transition. So I never like bashing on, filmmakers. I don't like bashing on people who, put time and effort because, it took thousands of people to make Madam Web happen. However, studio intervention and, declawing a script, apparently, like, it went through, like, 8 drafts or something. Like, there was a lot of studio meddling. And even when your cast is going on a press tour and says the movie we made suck and the industry is dying, it doesn't leave you with a lot of hope going into it.
And yet, Madam Web found a way to crush what little hope I even knew existed. It found a way for me to hate those thousands of craftsmen just doing their jobs, feeding their families, and gave me a desire to steal food out of their children's mouths.
Oh my!
It's the worst. And this sounds, everyone always says, "Oh, this movie's the worst thing I've ever seen." We talked about Cats earlier. People said Cats is the worst thing. I saw Cats in theaters. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the worst. It's weird and it's not good and everything like that. But to be the worst, you need to be something very specific, and that is unredeemable in the sense that there is not one thing in the entire runtime where you go, at least there's that.
So there's that picture that Elias took of me after me leaning against the wall, just absolutely defeated. I posted that in like 2 or 3 servers that I'm in. I'm like, okay, so I saw Madam Web, and people were asking me about it. Some people had never even heard of it.
It was shocking,
right? And so I've been trying to find different ways to articulate, because like you said, at least like for Cats, I have not seen Cats, but I'm not a huge fan of the original. I was a theater kid in high school. I'm not a
what?
Don't give me that look. I'm not a huge fan of the original production, but I like the music. At least I can say, okay, the music is good.
Yeah, in the Cats movie, I remember I'm watching this. I'm like, this movie's terrible. And then Memories hits, and I'm like, damn, I'd never heard any of the songs, and I was like, they're kind of going off with this one.
Yeah, like there's always something.
Yeah.
Not only is there nothing redeemable in the final product of Madam Web, anything that anybody could ask about to be like, what about this? I can think of specific examples of when it is not working.
Yeah.
Which is a whole new, it's so hard to articulate how.
And yes, I can go find probably worse movies in the sense that made by smaller people, made by this, made by that. But this is a major studio releasing a theoretically major movie that they invested time to. They've been making movies for years, and it's this bad. It's this incompetent. Like, that's embarrassing. That's... Here's a great example. The villain, in his opening scene, this movie opens in a flashback, 1973. The Madam Web's mom is pregnant with her and talks to who you're going to find out is the villain.
Ezekiel Sims.
If you say so. I've known him as unrelated Spider Dickhead.
Stealing guy. Which is almost as good as Baseball Dad.
Really knocking it out of the park in 2024 garbage.
We haven't even talked about Night Swim on this podcast.
Oh my god. But anyway, she says her opening line. Whatever Madam Web's mom says, she's like, oh my god, spiders. He speaks, and his lips don't sync up with what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And then he keeps talking, and it doesn't get better. And I leaned over to whoever I was next to, and I said, is his audio replaced? And we spent the entire movie, yes, it is.
He's the only character. Everything is ADR'd.
I don't know if there's one line that was said on set. And, I'm not going to say 100%, but it looked damn near close.
There's a quality, there's a tone, there's a texture he's putting into his voice when he's speaking that gives it almost a hushed whisper, but he's not projecting enough for it to be heard. So I'm imagining that's why they had to ADR the whole thing.
Really?
You think because he was in this character. I mentioned...
He sounds like his mouth's gummed up with milk duds. Like everyone's trying to guess the accent. I need to find Madam Web.
Well, he gives... Again, like we were set on either side of the same person, and I was telling them that like we were playing this game of like, whose voice do you hear in that? It's like, oh, Ben Kingsley, Iron Man 3. Like, oh, this is vaguely accent coded, but I'm not really hearing an accent.
Yeah,
he was giving like this like gruff, hushed whisper tonality that like Vincent D'Onofrio gives to Kingpin. But Vincent D'Onofrio has a presence to him.
Yeah, and good writing.
And good performing. Yeah. And is a very...
good actor. I don't know that this guy isn't, but this is the only thing I've seen him in.
That's fair.
And I'm not going to be, like, hunting him down.
No. Which do you think they did more of? Did they shoot too much coverage, or did they do too much editing? Because this movie has many cuts. They cut to many things.
I can't imagine you have too much coverage. Like, that's, like, you could just not use the shots if you had too much This one, we just cut, the ambulance is going left, we cut, an ambulance is going right.
That is the first two shots you see of the main character. You see Dakota Johnson's character. She's driving the camera, she's driving the ambulance from if you're watching it from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. Yeah. Immediately cut. It's clearly a different shot. It's at a slightly different angle. Opposite direction.
Yeah.
And so immediately they let you know that they do not care about the 180 line. So
and we're just cutting close, far, wheel, front of the car, back, like inside the
punch-ins.
car. Just every time we cut to a person's face, we cut wide and then we do a digital zoom in on them. And with like shaky cam, like it's all handheld. I don't know why. Like we don't do it all the time. We just do it when people talk, just to distract you. We cut on things that don't. Cut, a suitcase closes, and then we cut to a door opening, but the suitcase closes down, and the door opens left to right. So it's not a match cut. You would have to turn the camera on the suitcase, and we could cut from closing to opening. It would be a little weird, but it would be intentional and stylized.
I promise you, there are so many instances of Ezekiel Sims running on walls in all different kind of directions and orientations. If they put an ambulance door opening sideways, nobody would have cared. It would have been a match cut. It would have looked slightly better. Nobody.
I wouldn't have remembered it, other than being like, "What is happening? I hate this movie." At one point during this movie, you started having a full volume conversation with someone. Just you guys were pissed and talking about the movie, and not a soul in that theater told you to be quiet.
There was
myself included.
There was the group we were with, and there were 7 other people in the theater with us.
Oh, you counted? Okay.
Yeah, there was like 2 people in the same row, 2 people in the row ahead of us, and then like 3 people. I don't think together, but there was 3 other people. Like
there was also because I left the theater twice, just again because I wanted to. One time I went to go get a big ol' icy, and then the other time I just stood in the hallway,
stared at the wall.
I went to the bathroom. And then I got out of the bathroom. I just stood in the hallway, and I was just like, "What a world!"
I was leaned forward many times in the seat, my glasses off, my hat in my hand, like head in hand. I was contemplating, like, actually just getting, like, you're just getting up, just taking a break from the movie, standing in the hallway for a minute. Real quick, I had something I wanted to bring here.
Okay.
Because like 2 minutes before you showed up for the recording, my dad, I sent that picture of me afterwards to my dad. Because he asked me, he's like, let me know how Madam Web was.
Yeah, he's a big web head.
I sent him that picture. Well, because he likes comic book movies.
Yeah, sure.
I sent him that picture. I'm like, does this tell you anything about how Madam Web was? And he sent me something back. Somebody posted this and it was like, all these events happen in Madam Web except one. Can you guess which is the lie?
Okay.
So the spoiler territory here for...
Oh yeah, be careful. Spoiling a lot of nothing.
First one. Madam Web is born in a cave in Peru with the help of magic spider people.
That's real.
The 3 spider women never get powers and are only seen in costumes during dream sequences.
Also real.
Evil Spider-Man is killed by a large Pepsi sign.
Real.
Madam Web becomes wanted for kidnapping by the NYPD.
Real.
Madam Web runs down evil Spider-Man in her car twice.
Real. I said she doesn't have any powers except hitting someone with a car.
Peter Parker is born, but not named.
Real.
Madam Web inexplicably splits into 3 ghost-like copies of herself near the end of the movie.
Real.
Exactly.
Is that all of it?
That's all of them.
There's no lie?
I told my dad, like, these are all real.
Every single thing in there happens.
Yeah.
And every single time, the theater got angrier. Like, those are a little out of order, I think. Or those might even be in the order they have. No, they're out of order. But, because, like, Pepsi sign happens at the end. But anyway, every single time that happened, no one in the theater was happy.
No.
The only time there was laughs or when it wasn't, like, lines were bad, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is so bad, it's good. It was, I'm angry. Like, it was laughing, but you were pissed. Like...
I wasn't even laughing.
I lost it at... The villain is sleeping, and we find out the only justification he has in the movie, by the way, is he's gonna kill 3 girls because in his dream they have spider outfits and they beat the shit out of him.
In the future, and they are minors, and 10 years in the future they're gonna kill him
because he has gray hair in his dream too.
Yeah.
So anyway, he wakes up. he wakes up into his dream, so it's the beginning of his dream, and his opening line in the dream is, "They took my spider."
Because he's been microdosing spider bites.
Has he? Is that?
Yeah. Okay. So the spider in the movie that they're looking for at the beginning is
gives you powers.
It gives you endorphins that heighten muscle growth. So like it speeds up all the processes in your body, and there's never been a live specimen collected. So that's what her mom was doing in the Amazon.
There would be more people looking for the superhero spider.
There would be. You would think. So they find the spider. He kills everybody in the camp, including this pregnant woman. The magic spider people are like, we will
magic spider people, by the way. There's a tribe of magic spider people.
There's a tribe of magic spider
people.
They
look like Adrian Brody and Adam Driver combined into one man.
Wearing like red vines in the shape of Spider-Man masks.
Yeah.
This movie really wanted to have, like, Sony really wants Peter Parker back because these movies are failing. They keep like almost.
They reuse a shot from Spider-Man 2 in this movie.
Do they really?
Oh, at the very end when it swings up that building into her like staring, that swinging camera shot's just straight out of Spider-Man.
I gotta.
It might even be Spider-Man 1, but yeah.
I love Spider-Man 2. I gotta rewatch that.
I got them on DVD in a box.
You don't say.
Just
I have
the first
them.
two.
I have every Spider-Man movie up until like the second Tom Holland one on Blu-ray in a box together.
Nice.
I love Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man 2. It's a shame this movie was made.
Yeah, no, it's man. So what was I talking about? The spider.
Yes.
So the spider people are like, don't worry, we'll help you. Because she's sitting there bleeding out. She's like, what about my baby?
She being Madam Web's pregnant mom? Is that what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, Constance Webb.
That's not her name.
That is her name. Constance Webb, and then her son's name is Cassie Webb.
Her son?
Daughter's name is Cassie Webb. I know where I am right now.
I forgot. That is another thing that got me to laugh when I was pissed at the movie. Someone pulls out an ID and goes, Webb, and then the villain's like, Webb, where have I heard that before?
The villain's like evil accomplice who's watching like city surveillance is like, yeah, Cassie Webb, daughter of Constance Webb, like very clearly giving full name of person that you killed, and all he catches is like, did you say Webb? That's not possible.
I killed her. So what were you saying?
So Constance gets taken by the spider people into a Peruvian cave full of magic water, and the spider like bites her, and they say it's like this will be enough to like this will save you enough to give birth to your child, but we can't save both of you.
Yeah, we're basically giving you an adrenaline shot to the heart so you could pop this sucker out and then go to sleep with the fishes.
Exactly.
Sleep with the spiders, perhaps.
So
you think they did that? You think they just fed her body to the spiders after that? Just whipped her in a ditch?
I mean, in the movie, she goes back to that. She takes a weekend and goes to Peru in the movie. There's really no sense of time for like when she's like,
that's true.
She's like, I'll be gone like for a couple of days. She's going deep into the Peruvian jungle. How did she find the exact same filming location?
Spiders.
Follow the spiders. Yeah, so the guy, Ezekiel Sims, takes the spider, and he's like, this spider will like make me more powerful. So he's been microdosing spider bites for years, just getting more and more juiced off of it.
What is his goal?
He wants to save everything he's built.
What has he built?
Spider Empire.
So
in the comics, he's like going around killing the spider people.
Right.
Like it's not the same as like the vampire spider family, but like that's like his back and forth with Madam Web, as Madam Web is protecting the Spider-Verse and he's going around trying to like kill spider people.
I think every spin-off character of a superhero is dumb. I think if you make Spider-Man, there should be literally no other spider characters. I'll let Miles Morales, he's Spider-Man too, so.
Yeah.
2 TOO, like
it's Spider-Man 2.
Because he's just Spider-Man. He's just another Spider-Man. Yeah. And Peter Parker's like, every time they interact, he's like, thank God, I'm so busy. There's 1 billion crooks.
I love the Insomniac games because like there's the meme of like, we're gonna have to come up with another name, like we need Silk and Scarlet Spider, like we need to come up with names for all these people, and then it's just Miles and Peter being like, thanks Spider-Man, no problem Spider-Man.
That's fun, but like every other spin-off character, I think like you say Spider-Verse and I think it's dumb. I think it's so dumb.
in the current continuity
Uh-huh.
of Marvel Universe 616 in the comics, Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, she has like come from her universe and is here to stay. There are, I think, 8 Spider people currently in the single main continuity of Marvel
That's
Comics.
really stupid.
That's way too many.
You know what else is stupid?
Hmm.
Madam Web.
Madam Web. See, that's the issue, is like I have such like a love for the source material. I don't keep up to date with like everything,
Mm-hmm.
but like I know when something's not right. Like I showed you Ezekiel Sims' outfit. It would have been so much easier on the costume department because they gave him like this chunky CWS.
I think that's the least of their concerns. They need to figure out who in the costume department forgot to give him shoes.
He's only not wearing shoes when he's not the ceiling guy.
For some reason, the main villain of this, he wears like your classic, like nice suit, whatever, bad guy, fancy dresser, with no shoes and no socks. Out in his house, outside on the sidewalk, walking out of his car, he has no shoes on, and the camera doesn't focus on it. It just kind of lets it pop into frame here and there. You see some grippers, and you're like, why the fuck does he not have shoes on?
Yeah.
And we never bring it up.
Because he wears like a slate gray suit, so seeing like a skin tone towards the bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
it really, like even when it's not in focus, it sticks out.
And he wears shoes in his bad guy uniform.
You don't want to know why? It's because it's a onesie. If you're getting in and out of your spider suit to go commit crimes, untying your shoes and taking your socks off, that would take too much time.
Still doesn't explain why he doesn't wear shoes.
I just said because it would take too much time.
No, it wouldn't. You would just wear them you would wear no socks then. You would wear kickoffs. You would wear some nice Skechers slip-ons. Some of them Tony Romos.
He's got Yeezys.
That would be awesome. If an evil Spider-Man showed up in Yeezys and he kicked off his foam runners to beat some ass. Another thing I love is this movie gives... None of the main characters in this movie have any, like, superpowers. Madam Web can see the future, sort of. So they have to make a villain that can be defeated by a 30-year-old paramedic with no powers. So he can't have super strength. He can't have, like, any webs or anything like that. He has nothing spider. He can walk on walls, and he doesn't do it a bunch, because then he would win.
The choreography the stunt work so badly wanted to give him web slingers. He would just, like, take off, and then they would do an awkward cut away from it.
That's another weird cut, too, where when he's on top of that taxi, the first time he jumps, you see his legs start to extend, and then we cut.
Yeah.
Like, he could just be standing up. We just see, like, this, like, jerk of motion, and we just cut to inside an ambulance again. And then we see him in a rearview mirror jumping from cars. So it wasn't like they were like, oh, we gotta hide it, we can't CGI it. They do CGI it right after that. Why the fuck did we cut on that one? It looked terrible. And you have the footage. Did the camera fall in the gutter after that? Oh my god.
We can't.
We just lost a red. There goes $60,000 to the sewer people.
Oh my. Imagine. Do you think this movie was shot with a red helium or something?
I think this movie was shot with an Android LG4.
I think this movie was shot with a gun, and that's why we got it. That's why we got this in the theaters.
Yeah, no, I don't think this was shot with anything respectable. There's like every scene is framed bad. I don't know why. Yeah, that's another like you were saying, like a lot of people worked on this movie and stuff like that. So I don't know. We do digital zooms, so clearly we're shooting really wide and we're zooming in. For some reason, we're not just doing it in post. We're not just cropping in. We're doing a zoom so we can all see the movement, and every single time it's distracting. But then, like, framing will just be bad. It will just be like a restaurant.
Yeah. And
it's just either lit poorly or, like, at a weird angle, or you don't know where... Like, the diner that they go to, we see it... just a Toxic by Britney Spears starts playing for no reason as we're walking through the woods.
That was a real plot point. It was relevant that she had to get there before, like, the second, like, verse or something.
Yeah.
She had to get there fast before Toxic ended.
But it starts when they're walking through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And it fades in real slow. But then it just is there. And we're like, okay. But it's not a montage. It's just them walking.
Yeah.
And then we get a shot of the diner obscured through trees. And then we just get a shot of them walking towards the diner. So we never get a clear fucking shot of the diner as they approach it that first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have... like, you can just shoot it. That's a very basic shot. It's a diner. We don't get a shot of the motel they stay in. There's no establishing shot of that. There's one when she leaves.
Yeah, and I think that was an instance where you said like, oh look, framing.
They framed.
There's foreground. There's
and it's not like, oh my god, it's a great shot. It was the first time they put a shot together. But like they go to a motel, we see them exiting a car, then we're up on the second floor and we see them entering a door, but there's no shot of the motel.
No.
Where did they go? Are they on the cutting room floor? Did they not shoot establishing shots?
I think no.
No to which one? I think the movie's just no?
No.
Okay.
Oh man, because like,
stop trying to look for an answer in that noggin of yours. It's not there. Well, if you could understand Madam Web, you'd have traumatic brain injury.
Because I'm thinking about like if this was possibly studio intervention.
In what way?
So Dakota Johnson, just on the press tour, has been saying that like the industry is currently like a mess, and people with money who are making decisions are too scared to do anything fun, new, creative. They're just doing the safe thing, and that's why everything is failing.
Yeah, I mean, she's right there.
So
she's insane, but she's right there.
So I'm trying to think, because this is the same studio that gave us, the Venom movies, which I like. I don't think Venom 2 is as good as Venom 1. I think Venom 2 is very fun, and I seem to be the only person who didn't hate Morbius. I think Morbius just arrived like 10 years too late.
This is the first Sony spin-off
Spider movie,
whatever I've seen. I forgot about Venom and stuff like that.
Yeah,
this is how I'm starting it.
Oh, that's rough.
So
it's all uphill from here.
That's true.
We gotta get you Morbin.
I'm not gonna do that. I will watch Craven in theaters with you, and we'll probably talk about it here.
Only if it does bad.
Oh yeah, because I think it's probably gonna rake in the big bucks. I think I'm gonna be Craven the Craven.
I want because again. Trying to go back to my original thought with studio intervention, because Venom 1
I got that Venom
Venom 1 didn't have too many stakes. It was just like, hey, we can't use Spider-Man because we have an agreement with Marvel Studios now. Sony has an agreement, but we still have Venom, and Venom is a competent standalone character.
Okay.
Who has like his own villains, his own arcs, like he has things that happen in his own comic.
Okay.
So I think that was a great place to start, and I think those movies have been competent because they use Riot, they've used Carnage, they've used other like symbiote characters. I'm like, okay, I believe that Venom can be an anti-hero if there's a worse guy in the room.
I haven't seen them. I forgot Tom Hardy was in it, and so the movie, I'm not even joking, blends together with 8 Mile in my head because Eminem did the soundtrack. So when I'm trying to imagine Venom trailers, I just see Eminem.
Eminem as Venom?
Yes. Eminem.
Eminate Milem.
8 Mile.
8 Millennium.
What did you do, Venom? I 8 Mile of him.
His real name is Clarence.
Oh, we're lost if we're going to Venom to save us from this fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else. Oh, just to put a cap on that thought, Venom didn't have a lot of stakes. Venom 2 was like, okay, let's try and do as good. Morbius was shot and a miss, like no doubt about it. That was just a big miss of a movie. So I think now they're kind of tightening a hole, like they're tightening up, being like, hey, like Venom was good,
we can't have another Morbius. Joe producer man, can fix this.
Amy Pascal,
listen, I bombed out of a job at fucking AT&T, and now I'm in control of the biggest corporations on the movie making planet, and let me tell you, cut the establishing shots from Madam Web and zoom in on everyone's faces. Also, 100 minutes of exposition minimum.
I honestly think what it is the script was so nothing. They overproduced in post-production to try and make it more visually interesting.
You know what? That's
trying to do like visually stimulating things to keep like, iPad baby attention, but also what iPad baby is going to see 4 women in the woods and be, there's not enough action in this movie.
They stand in the woods and talk in a circle.
Yeah.
Giving exposition. It's like a student film. And I've made a student film, all right? I'm allowed to say that shit.
Yeah. At least in your film, somebody threw a punch.
That's the bar. I'm better than Madam Web.
I took a life in my film.
That's true. What about after that film, though?
Huh?
What about that whole thing after that?
What you talking about?
I don't know. My brain's fried. Argylle made me confused, and Madam Web made me angry.
So now you're just confused and angry.
Yes.
Like
I just walk the streets a broken man.
We put a blindfold on a bulldog, and he's just going nuts. He doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, I'm gonna tear one of those kids apart. That's a movie you should check out.
What?
When Evil Lurks. I watched that before watching Madam Web. Just check that one out.
No.
You don't like gore.
I don't like gore.
Check it out.
I'm not a gore head. Although I honestly, last thought that has nothing to do with anything, I've thought about Malignant a lot after we watched it.
Because it's fun and it has an angle that's new.
Yeah. I liked Malignant a lot.
Watch Malignant. That's the takeaway from Madam Web. Watch fucking Malignant. I'm not going to say it's great. Some people really loved it, but it's different. There's no other movie recently that's like that.
I want to marry Ray Chase. I love him. So Ray Chase is gonna be Cyclops in the new X-Men cartoon coming out.
Cool. Speaking of other gore heads, Gore Verbinski is making a movie starring Sam Rockwell.
Al Gore.
I don't understand why people keep referencing Al Gore when they talk about it.
Cause Gore, I don't know.
I don't know either.
What was that name you said? Gore Bablinski?
Gore Verbinski. He did all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
You think I'd look at the credits? I watched those movies when I was 7. I didn't know what...
He did the first 3. I think maybe the 4th, but we're not going to talk about that one.
I like the first one.
Just the first one? You don't like the other 2?
When I was a kid, I really liked the third one because it had, like, lots of things going on. Yeah. But watching it, I'm like, this is a long fucking movie.
I disagree. I watched those 3 last year. Yep. They're good.
If you still like... I think the CGI still holds up really well.
It looks better than fucking Argylle. I don't know what happened. Why do movies look like shit now?
It really is. I think, honestly, because of COVID, they're having to do all this stuff at home, and it's home setups when you're watching it on like a just a home desk computer monitor, compared to being able to screen it on an actual theater screen.
So you're hearing it here first, folks. Duncan says remove work from home. Back to the office.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying due to unfortunate circumstances upon the world stage, we've had to make small compromises that have been less than beneficial to the movie industry.
I think they should bring back squibs and wires and just start throwing dudes around again. I'm so sick of CGI blood.
Yeah. CGI blood is bad. CGI oil is bad, especially when there's not a drop on the dress when she's done spinning around.
Yeah, that dress that keeps changing lengths. It's down to her heels until she has to move. Suddenly it's like knee length.
All right. I think we're done complaining.
Don't see Madam Web. See Argylle if you feel like it.
See Argylle when it hits Amazon or Netflix.
See Argylle on TNT on Thanksgiving while you're making turkey, so you can just watch little bits.
Do a double feature when both of these hit Netflix. Get them to #1 and #2 trending, respectively.
And you can also take the exhaust from your car and just hook it up to your mouth and kill yourself like the beginning of Midsommar.
You can find John on Letterboxd at Bad Schmooze, and you can find me in Letterboxd at Captain Silver Linings. I don't know where we're going to throw these up, but there's probably going to be a link somewhere where you can find us.
Yeah.
See other great movie takes.
Which would you watch again, Madam Web or Midsommar?
That's actually a hard one.
I know.
Oh, man, because again, I have nothing against Midsommar conceptually. It just, again, I'm not a gore person, and there's a lot about that movie that is purposefully uncomfortable.
And I'm Ari Aster's biggest hater. I think he's a fraud and he tricked y'all and he's not good at making nothing.
I would probably, just for the comfort of my sensitive little tum-tum, I'd probably watch Madam Web again, but on mute in black and white.
Black and white?
At a half speed.
I grayscaled my TV for the Madam Web minus color release. All right.
If you showed up and I was watching that, Madam Web, black and white, half speed, and I'm alone in the house.
Yeah.
and I just look at you walking in my door, just look at you. Would you at least like call help? Would you call somebody for me?
Yeah,
If hit rock
I
bottom.
would. I would call scientists. I'd say figure this one out.
All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, cut the feed.